Hey everyone, so this is going to be an instructional video to talk about two-way frequency tables. Okay, so if you look at the copy of the guided notes that is titled Two-Way Frequency Tables, off to the right-hand side it gives you an example of what that kind of looks like. So the example they're giving you, the two objects we are working with here is an iPod and a smartphone, okay? And then notice at the top next to iPod it says no iPod, and then below smartphone it says no smartphone. How these are organized on the table, I could have had smartphone and no smartphone up here, and I could have had iPod and no iPod down here. So the placement of them doesn't really matter, okay? Because regardless, you're going to still get the same information. I just wanted to make that a point first, okay? So basically, before we get into some examples, let me just kind of talk about what a two-way frequency table is and what it does. Simply, it's just a way to organize data. Okay. So we can start just by jotting that down. Some pieces of our two-way frequency table in terms of what we're going to refer to them as, where I have, so we can see the total columns I have here, right? Those are the easiest ones to identify. So I have the totals coming across horizontally here, and I have my totals going across vertically here, okay? And the body is what I'm shading with my pencil. So I'm gonna point to that, I'm gonna call that the body. Another way that the text can refer to it is also called in parentheses just a joint or a joint body, okay? And then the totals can also be referred to as the marginal. So just some vocab for us to keep in mind as we're going through some of these problems here, okay? So frequency tables are actually kind of cool. Gives us some important information depending on what you're talking about. So if we just quickly look at the example up top here, okay, I could see that from my smartphone going across horizontally, where I have a total of 38 people who have a smartphone. Now between those 38 people, 20 of them also have an iPod, and then 18 of them do not have an iPod, all right? Same thing going down with the iPod here. So I have 28 people total who have an iPod, 20 of them have a smartphone, and then 8 of them do not have a smartphone. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways you can read these tables and figure out a bunch of different types of information. Okay, so looking at our first example, you have to fill in the blank. It says determine the information from the two-way frequency table. So now if we look, we have sports, video, and dance, and then our total columns at the end. Then going down, we're comparing boys and girls. Okay, and again, the total columns also at the bottom here. Okay, so it says how many students are in the class. So if we're looking here, that's where we're going to add up and see how my totals for sports, video, and dance, those should all add up to 60, and then my boys and girls should also add up to 60. So my total amount of people who are surveyed in this table here should be 60. So these totals here going across horizontally and these totals here vertically should always sum up to that number in the bottom right-hand corner, okay? So now it's saying how many girls like to dance. So I'm going to look at girls going across horizontally here, and I'm going to focus just on the section that lines up with dance. So that'd be 15. 15 girls like to dance. How many students like to play sports? So I'm going to look down at sports, and students means boys and girls. So the total of students that like sports would be considered 23, okay? And then how many girls don't like to play video games? So if I go to girls, well, I have 5 that like to play video games. So that means the other 2, the sports and the dance, those would be my non-video gamers. So 10 plus 15 would give me 25, okay? So now you're going to see, it says complete the two-way frequency table that represents the given information. So now we have a two-way frequency table, but there's a bunch of the boxes missing, okay? And what's cool about frequency tables is simply just addition, right? If you have missing filling in the blanks, a lot of times you can just figure that out by doing some addition and subtraction, okay? So it says 15 and 30-year-old males were asked which of the following actors they liked the best as Batman, and the following results were found, okay? So if we look across horizontally here, we have our 15-year-olds and what they thought, our 30-year-olds and what they thought, and they're choosing between Adam West, George Clooney, and Christian Bale, okay? Now I noticed that the total amount of 15-year-olds is 27, the total amount of 30-year-olds is 24. That means I can easily figure out my total amount of males that were asked this question. So I'm just going to add up 27 and 24. That gives me 51. Now, like I said in the beginning, These numbers that add up vertically to this bottom right-hand corner number, these numbers going across horizontally for my total should also add up to 51. So 1 plus 38 is 39. So if I do 51 minus 39, that's going to give me this number right in here. And that should give me 12. Okay, some of you are probably thinking, well, miss, if you look above that, you have your George Clooney for 8. That means these two numbers added together also would have to add up to the total number down below. Okay, so there's also multiple ways you can be filling these out. Okay, so if I look across here for my first row, 0 15-year-olds liked Adam West, 4 like George Clooney, blank like Christian Bale with a total of 27. So again, that means 0 plus 4 plus what equals 27. So I'm just going to do 27 minus 4, and that would give me 23, right? Because the first one was 0. So 0 plus 4 plus 23 equals 27, okay? Then my last column here, if 0 15-year-olds like Adam West, how many would have to like, how many 30-year-olds would have to like him in order to have a total of 1? That would just be 1, right? That was kind of a simple one to fill in, okay? Now, to kind of tie in the probability aspect of it, it's saying use the above table to answer the following questions about probability. So what is the probability that we select Adam West or people like Adam West? So let's see. Only a total of 1 person liked Adam West. That's going to be 1 out of the total of 51 males that were asked this question here. Okay. The probability that we have a 15-year-old, so the total amount of 15-year-olds that we had was 27. And again, that's still out of 51. And the probability of Christian Bale, so Christian Bale, okay, that was what, a total of 38 people that liked him. So that's 38 out of 51. Now it's saying, what is the probability of 30-year-old and George Clooney? So I'd have to go to 30-year-old and George Clooney and see where those align. And that's going to be at 8 out of 51. And then 15-year-olds and not Christian Bale. So 15-year-olds, not Christian Bale. So that would be 4 plus 0, because those are the 2 non-Christian Bale categories there. So that'd be 4 out of 51. Okay, sorry, I tilted my paper there a little bit. All right, last section now is completing the table from the given information. So they're giving us some information, and they want us to fill in the blank two-way frequency table here, okay? So it's saying that 23 juniors and 31 seniors were asked about which class they like better between AP World History and AP Calc. 41 students picked AP Calc, and 11 juniors picked AP World History. Well, first things first, they're telling us the total amount of juniors and the total amount of seniors, right? So for juniors, I can go over and put the total of 23. Total amount of seniors is 31. Okay, that means I know my total in general, which is going to be 54. That's just adding the 23 and the 31 there, okay? It's saying that 41 students picked AP Calc. So that means my total of AP Calc, right? That means juniors and seniors combined, they picked 41. And it says that 11 juniors picked AP World History. So they're telling us 11 juniors picked AP World History. So I'm going to fill in my 11 there. Now that's all the information they give us. And just like how I filled in my two-way frequency table up above, same way I can do it down below. There's multiple ways of filling it out. So let's see, I'm going to see that 11 plus this number here would have to equal my total of 23, right? So this should be 12 juniors who like AP Calc, okay? My total amount for AP World should be 54 minus 41, so that's going to give me 13. Again, because 13 plus 41 equals that bottom right-hand corner number of 54. And then 11 plus 2 would have to give me my 13. And then 12 plus 29 would give me the 41. And that's just simple subtraction, guys, right? 13 minus 11 gave me the 2, and 41 minus 12 gave me the 29.